Well, today we're starting a series that we do every year here at our church, and it's called You Asked For It. And I love this series because it is based around your questions. What we did at our Easter worship experience is we surveyed everyone in attendance, and we basically asked the question, what kind of topics do you want to hear me talk about on a Sunday morning? And we use the answers to that survey as a roadmap to this series on things we're going to talk about in the next 4 weeks. And today we're talking about the number one response on the survey. So if you were wondering what that is, we're going to talk about the number one response. And so can I get a drum roll, please, from people in the house? Come on, drum roll. All right, here we go. The number one thing, I think it's funny because it's the number one thing like every year we do this series. So here it is. It is, how do I handle my stress? Pastor, I've got so much stress in my life. Help me. Like I'm busy. I've got anxiety. I'm stressed out. Like, how do I handle all the stress that I'm going through? I think it's funny because you can read about different statistics when it comes to stress. And Americans, we've got more stress than a lot of other countries. We are in the top percentile of people that are just stressed out all the time. It's funny. I was in Scotland a couple months ago. I've told you guys a little bit about that. But I've noticed something about the Scottish people over there. They just aren't in a hurry for nothing. Like if you ever go to Scotland, you'll find like they're not in a hurry to take your order at a restaurant. They're not in a hurry to get your food to your table. They're not in a hurry for you to pay the bill. Like they're just not in a hurry. They drive slow. How many of y'all hate it when you're stuck behind a slow driver? Come on, be honest in church today. All right, some of y'all are liars. That's okay. But man, like sometimes I'm driving, I wish my car had like missile launchers on it to get out of my way because I need to go somewhere. But they're just not in a hurry in Scotland at all. And we were in a taxi one day, and I said to the driver, I was up front, and I was laughing, and I said to him, I said, man, you Scottish people, you really aren't in a hurry to go anywhere, to do anything. Like you're really a slow-paced society. And he says, well, stress and anxiety, he goes, we don't have that in Scotland. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, that's an American problem. And I said, okay, how true it is. And you can research stress. There's stress institutes now that talk about stress. And I found a couple stats I thought was interesting. About 77% of Americans say they have experienced physical symptoms due to stress. So like it's affecting your physical body because of everything that we're doing, all the things that we're carrying. And then I saw this other one, it said 73% say they have experienced mental symptoms due to stress. Like our mental capacity is being affected because of all the things that we're thinking about, all the things that we got to get done, all the different areas that we got to focus on, and it's affecting our mental capacity, and it's costing employers a ton of money now. Like they said about $300 billion cost on employers per year based on health concerns and days off of work that people are using because of the stress. We are a stressed out society. We are stressed. So I could see how this is the number one question that we have every single year as pastor. I got a lot of stress. Can you help me? I love this verse in the book of Proverbs. It says this in chapter 17. It says, an intelligent person aims at wise action. That's good. But a fool starts off in many directions. We're going everywhere. We're going everything we have to do. We got to go here. We got to go there. We got to go here. Like we are going in so many different directions in our lives, and it's no wonder that we can be stressed out. But I think for a lot of us, we have the mentality that I can handle it. I can handle it. Like, more to my plate. Come on, give me more stuff. I can handle it. I can do more and more and more, and it's not going to affect me. It won't happen to me. Maybe some other people that'll happen to, and so it's not going to affect me. And so what happens is we kind of look at opportunities. We say yes to a lot of things. All right, cool. Got to take the kids on a camping trip. No big deal. I can handle it. That's going to be fun. I'm going to go get me a tent. I never went camping before, but I'll figure it out. I can handle this. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, I'm going to get a new promotion at work. new job, new opportunity at work. This is going to be great. I can handle. I want to climb the corporate ladder. I want to be successful. I got this. Bring me on the new job at work. Bring me on the new assignment. I got this. And oh wait, I want to coach my kids' sports teams too, because I think that's a good thing. And so I'm going to add that to my plate. I got this. I can handle it. I'm Superman, Superwoman. I can do this. No big deal. And then it's like, okay, all of a sudden, there's a business trip, out-of-town business trip that my work wants to send me on. It's like, all right, that means they see me. They see that I'm doing some good things. I got this. I'll go on that out-of-town business trip. No big deal. I can handle it. It's all good. Then all of a sudden, it's like, oh my goodness, I got to go grocery shopping because I'm room mom at my kid's school, and I signed up to make cupcakes. And I don't know about all the allergies these days. I don't know. I need to find cupcakes that they have no gluten, no dairy, no fun, no nothing. Like, I got to find some cupcakes that can do this. And it's like, oh, wait a second. Oh, I got a dance class for my daughters in dance. So I got to get her to dance class. I can handle this, though. No big deal. There's so much more. And it's like, oh, there's another opportunity at work. Oh, great. I must be really killing it at work because my family life is really struggling. But I can handle it. It's no big deal. And then it's like, oh, wait. Oh, I should spend time with the kids. Like, that's a good thing to do. Like, I need to, like, be home at time and, like, do something with the kids. And it's like, oh my goodness, I can't do this. And then pastor's talking about you should go on a date night with your spouse once in a while. And it's like, oh my goodness, are you serious, pastor? Like, don't you know all the things I got going on right now in my life? And it's like another thing. And then it's like, oh, wait. Oh, we should serve at the church. Pastor's talking about that growth track thing. Oh my goodness. Are you serious? Like, really? Like, oh, I can handle it. I got all this stuff. And what happens is we walk around life looking like this, where we got so many things that we're carrying, and we have the mentality, I can handle it. I can handle it. No big deal. I can go through all that. No big deal. And what I've realized in my life is that the more I put on my plate, the more I say yes to, the more that I say I can handle it, I realize that, man, I can't handle it. Because what happens for me, I don't know about you, I got to switch my page on my notes. Is that when I go through some things, we say things like, well, God says, he'll never give me more than I can handle, right? So God says that, right? That's the Bible says that, right? No, the Bible doesn't say that, no. You can look in every verse, in every portion of Scripture, and the Bible never says that God will give you more than you can handle. It doesn't say that. Actually, for a lot of times, God will allow you to carry more things than you can handle so that you will rely on Him and not on yourself. And so what happens for me, though, is when I'm relying on myself and I'm walking through my own situations and I'm trying to carry things on my own, I realize a couple things. If you're taking notes, I'm just going to throw these out real quick. Number one is that my resistance gets lower. When I'm stressed out, when I'm carrying more than I should, my resistance gets lower, meaning that it's harder to say no to some of the sin areas in my life when I'm stressed out. It's like when you're so tired at times, it is hard to make good decisions. And my resistance for the things that I want to do is lower. Number two, my emotions are inconsistent. Have you ever wondered why? Like, why do I get angry so easily? Like why do I feel like crying at that commercial on Lifetime? I don't understand. Like why are my emotions up and down? I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm in and I'm out, I'm all those things, right? It's like, why do I feel this way all the time? And then number three, I realize that my productivity suffers. When I'm stressed out, I think that the more I do is actually going to help me do more and accomplish more. But what I realize is the more that I put on my plate, the less effective I get. The more stress I do, the more things that's weighing me down. Actually, it's like I start to miss things. I start to miss the details, and I forget some things. And maybe you've forgotten some details, and your boss has talked to you about, hey, you forgot to do this. And you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I've just been so busy. I've just been so stressed out. And we're missing things, and we realize that our productivity suffers. We're forgetting things that we normally never forget. We're like, oh, I got to pick the kids up at 3 o'clock. Oh my gosh, it's 5 o'clock. Like, who got the kids today? I don't know. Our productivity suffers. And number 4, I feel like a lot of times our life starts to lose meaning because we're doing more things that don't give us life. And so we back away from things that give us joy, and we start to lose meaning and fulfillment in our life. And then number 5, my relationship with God seems to be distant. When I'm stressed out and I'm going through so much, I feel like my relationship with God is distant for whatever reason. When we are so busy, the first thing we want to cut is our time with God, our relationship with God. If you pray with God, if you spend time listening to worship music, or even going to church, it's like for whatever reason we think, church is the problem. If I can just cut out church, then I'll be happy, and then I'll have more time on my hands, and we can think about so many things. And I realize that when I'm so stressed out, my relationship with God seems distant. The Bible records in the New Testament when Jesus calls his disciples, these young guys to follow him. It's interesting because he finds them living life. They were living busy lives. They all had jobs. Some were fishermen, tax collectors. I mean, they had busy lives. And Jesus finds them and he sees them in what they're doing. And he invites them to leave what they're doing and to come and follow him. He says, listen, I see you're busy over there. I see you got a lot going on, but I'm inviting you to walk with me. I'm inviting you to leave the lifestyle that you're living to follow a new lifestyle that I have for you. And I love in Matthew chapter 4, it says this. It says, at once they left their nets and they followed him. They left what they were doing. They left everything that they had become comfortable with. And they said, okay, this isn't working out. I think Jesus is offering something better for me. And one by one, they began to leave their nets. They began to leave the things that they were accustomed to doing. And they began to follow Christ in a new way of life. I'm not talking about quitting your job. I'm not talking about, not going to classes, not doing the things you have to do. But Jesus was inviting them to a new perspective to live life. I love what Matthew chapter 11 says. It says this, are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? And Jesus says, come to me. Get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Come on. Walk with me and work with me. I love that. He doesn't say we're going to sit on a beach and drink pina coladas all day. No. He says, listen, walk with me and we're going to do some work. But listen, the work that we're going to do is not going to burn you out. The work that we're going to do actually is going to be life-giving to you. It's actually going to change everything about you. He goes, watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. I believe with all of my heart today that Jesus, if you're stressed out in this place, if you're overwhelmed, you're dealing with anxiety, you feel like, oh my goodness, my life is so busy, Jesus is not inviting you to just drop all the things you're doing in your life, but to begin to change your perspective in the midst of your busyness, to not rely on yourself, but to rely on him. To let him be the sustainer of life, to let him be something that's going on the inside, where he's inviting us to a new way to do life. And so he has ways for us that when we follow his ways, we begin to live freely and lightly. So if you're taking notes today, what are some things that I see in Scripture that Jesus wants us to embrace as we live our stressed out life? Number one, you can write this down, and that is that some things just need to be shared. Some things in your life need to be shared. We think, I can handle it. I can do this all on my own. I don't need any help from anybody. We think God won't give me more than I can handle, so I can do this. I got all this. And listen, the problem is we weren't designed to handle all of this stuff that we're carrying by ourselves. I mean, I love this story from the Old Testament when Moses, this guy who God asked to do something that was way bigger than him, way more than he could ever handle. God asked this guy Moses to literally leave thousands of people out of slavery in Egypt through a desert and into a promised land one day. Talk about more than you can handle. Like it was crazy the job that God asked this guy to do. But one day he was feeling overwhelmed and stressed out, and he got a little advice from his father-in-law. And in Exodus chapter 18, Moses' father-in-law told him, he said, listen, what you are doing is not good. He said, you and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. If I could say to you this morning that what you're doing is not good, that you're going to wear yourself out, and you can't handle everything that you're doing alone. But maybe you're like me, who I have no problem helping other people. You ask me to help, I'll be there. But I have a hard time asking for help. I have a hard time receiving help sometimes. I'm like, I got it, I can do it. Like, I've been the guy at the gym who is on the bench press, and I think I can do just one more set, one more rep, and then my arms give out, and I've got all this weight just resting on my chest, and I'm like, oh great, I'm stuck now. And I got people to the left, people to the right that could help me, but that's embarrassing to ask them for help right now. And I'm just gonna rest here, and hopefully the strength will return to my body so I can pick this weight back up. But eventually it just crushed my chest, and I gotta kind of roll the bar down my body, and that hurts really bad. Really bad, okay? And so I'm that person that sometimes struggle to ask for help. And maybe you're like that too. And we need to understand that a lot of the things that we're carrying on our life, man, it needs to be shared. It needs to be shared with other people, where other people can help you carry the burden that you're carrying. But at the same time, not only does it need to be shared physically, but it needs to be shared emotionally as well. That's why we talk about city groups. That's why I'm in a city group. Every semester, my wife and I lead a city group. Why? Because you're the pastor of the church. That's a good thing. You should do that. No, because I need a place where I can talk to other people and I can share my struggles. I can share what I'm going through. I can share the things that are burden on me. I can share all the things that are weighing me down. And when I share that with people, it gives me energy. People give me advice. It's amazing how I've got other people praying for me. And every time after a small group, I leave feeling so energized, feeling so much better, because all the things that were weighing me down, I'm sharing them now with all of these other people. Maybe you're so stressed out. Maybe you feel so overwhelmed because you're just not sharing the thing that God is giving you to have right now. Like maybe it's time for you to share it. I love what Galatians 6:2 says. It says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. So some things just need to be shared. But number two, if you're taking notes, some things just need to be stopped. Some things just need to be stopped. Could it be the reason why we're so stressed out in our life is because, listen, we're just saying yes to everything. We just say yes to everything. And I love it in the New Testament. I can relate to this story as well, as Jesus was going over to dinner to these two sisters' house, Mary and Martha. And I love it because Mary is one of those people where she's like, I'm going to take advantage of Jesus coming to my house to have dinner. So I'm just going to sit at his feet. I'm going to listen to everything Jesus says. I'm just going to be right here, just taking it all in. It's Jesus, Savior of the world. I mean, come on. I'm going to choose to do this right now. And I love it because her sister Martha was different temperament, different personality. She's one of the people that's like, okay, everything's got to be just right. Jesus is coming over. Okay, I got to make his favorite cupcakes. Jesus is coming over today. Make sure you light a candle in the bathroom because Peter was in there, and who knows what happened in there. Listen, we got to make it just right. Jesus is here today. And she looks over and she sees her sister, just what she thinks is being a lazy bum, and she's like, Jesus, would you tell my sister to get up and help me? I mean, there's so much to do. There's so much you're here. Like tell her to get up. And I love Jesus' response to Martha in this moment. In Luke chapter 10, he goes, Martha, Martha, You are worried and upset about many things. How many of us in this room can relate to that verse right there? Many of us we're worried about many, many things. But he says this, only one thing is important. Mary has chosen the better thing. The better thing. Everybody say better thing. Come on, everybody say better thing. And it will never be taken away from her. I love that Mary made a choice. She made a choice. There were a lot of things that she could have done in that moment. There's a lot of help that she could have probably did, but she made a choice to say, I'm going to do what's better than what's lesser. I'm going to make a choice to do the things that I think are better than what really aren't as better. And so let me think about this for a moment right now. And if you could fill in this blank in your own life, how would you fill this blank in? If only I had more time, I would blank. If only I had more time, what would you do? Would you go on vacations more? If I had more time, I would go on vacations. If I had more time, maybe I'd spend time with my kids a little bit more. If I had more time, maybe I would start that business. If I had more time, maybe I would, serve in the church and be a part of what God's doing there. And maybe I'd be in a city group and do that. I think that's a good thing. I'm sure it's probably a good thing, but I'm just so busy. I just don't know if I can do that right now. If I had more time, oh man, I would do this. See, here's what I think with all of my heart. We fall for the lie from the devil that we don't have enough time. That we just don't have enough time. No, you don't have enough time. And I believe that there's a value that God has placed on the inside of your heart that says, this is something I'd love to lead you in, something I'd love to lead you to, but you're letting things that are lesser be over what is actually better and more important. We're letting things that are actually not as productive, not as good, not as beneficial to our life, and we're letting those things dominate the things that we really truly value, the things that we really truly care about, the things that we really want to have happening in our life, and we let other things choose to take the place of first in our life. So I just believe with all of my heart that we have a choice that we can make. I can choose, like Mary, to do what's better than what's lesser. For me and for you, it's going to be different. Every single person, we all have different values, things that you care about. But for me, my values are what they are, and I love my values, and I ain't changing them for nobody. But my values, number one, my value is my time with God is so vitally important in my life. Like, not because I'm a pastor, but because I'm a child of God. And I understand that all wisdom, all leadership, all joy, all grace, everything I need to be successful in life comes and starts with Him. And so I need to go to Him every day to receive everything that He has for me. And I'm no good without Him. And so I understand that I need Him. And so I spend time with God every morning. And listen, you can't get a breakfast meeting with me. If you try to get a breakfast meeting with me, like, I'll say no. But if I have to do it, that means I'm going to get up even earlier, or that means I'm going to spend some time with God in a different way. But listen, for me, for the most part, I got an appointment with God every morning, and I'm gonna choose what's better for what's less. And listen, that's me. That's what I'm choosing, something that I value over, because so many times it's like, oh, let's do that breakfast meeting. Oh, let's go here. Let's have a morning meeting. All these things pop up, but I want to choose what's better than what's lesser. And secondly, for me, is my relationship with my spouse. Like, my relationship with my spouse is so critically important. Like, I can't do anything if I'm not connected with her in a proper and right relationship. And so for us, like, I encourage people, go on a date night. Absolutely. If you're married, do that. That's so important to do. For us, we do a date like brunch, because my wife loves donuts and brunch. Come on, somebody. So, and we do a morning brunch, and that works out for our schedule. And it's easy because there's a lot of things that try to get that time as well. Like, oh, you could go here, you could do this, you could do that thing. And I said, no, wait. That's something that's important to the success of our marriage. So I'm going to choose what's better than what's lesser right now. And at the same time, the third thing for me is my relationship with my kids. Like, all right, now I've made the choice that 3 days a week, I'm going to leave the office early so I can go coach my son's football team. I leave, that makes me have to put out all the distractions. That makes me have to kind of work harder. And that makes me have to say a little bit no to the conversations around the coffee pot in the morning. And I'm going to get my work done so I can be there for my son at 3 o'clock because he's only going to play third grade football one time. He's only going to be 8 years old one time. And I'm going to be there for that. I'm going to choose what's better for what's lesser. So whatever the value is for you, whatever the thing that's important to you, you've got to come to a place where you choose, okay, I'm going to do something. Maybe I got to make some sacrifices. Maybe I got to change some things. But I'm going to choose what's better than what's lesser. And then I love this verse. Let me give you this verse, Psalms 46. Verse 10, it says this. It says, listen, I want you to be still and know that I'm God. I want you to be still. So stop doing some things and know that I'm God. Be still. Be still. Isn't that awkward? Isn't that awkward right now? Like when you're up here and you're not saying anything, it's like, say something. Like, what are you doing? Like, maybe I should have waited a little longer, make it more awkward. But it's like, come, like, Pastor, say something. Get the band up here. Like, it's just too awkward. I don't know. Like, I think sometimes maybe we suffer, and maybe if you're a believer in this place, we haven't really connected with God in a long time because we just haven't stopped doing some things and connect with God in the way that we need to. Like we say God is valuable in our life, but a lot of times our actions don't really line up with that. But God wants you to know to be still and know that he's God. So what changes do we need to make to get to that place? And then number 3, if you're taking notes, if you said some things need to be shared, some things need to be stopped, but number 3, everything needs to be surrendered. Everything needs to be surrendered to God. I love what Psalms 55 says. It says, cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. I love that word cast. It means like to throw. Like throw your cares on God. Like stop holding on to them, but literally throw your cares, cast them onto the Lord and let him embrace them. Let him hold them. Let him carry the weight. Like God is gonna give you things and it's gonna seem like a lot, but when you're holding all of it all on your own, you're going to get stressed out. Your anxiety is going to build. But when you every day say, God, I'm giving you that work assignment. God, I'm giving you my children. I'm giving you my marriage. I'm giving you everything that I have. I'm giving you my entire life today, God. I'm giving you everything that I'm worried about. I'm giving you everything that I care about, God. I need your strength. I need your grace. I need your peace today, God. When we surrender everything to God, man, that is when he sustains us. That is when he fills us. That is when he builds us up so that you can make it through everything he's calling you to do in this life, and you will have joy. You can have peace. You can have fulfillment in the midst of all of this stuff. It's so important that we surrender it all to God and give it to him every single day. So let me ask you a question, and that is, I kind of said it already, but what areas in your life maybe need to make some drastic changes? What areas in your life maybe need to make some radical changes? And you may be sitting there and you may be like, okay, Pastor, I'm stressed out, but I don't think I need some drastic, radical changes. Maybe just a few tweaks here or there and I'll be good. But listen, I believe that you're a smart person, and if it was just a few little tweaks or changes, you would have done that by now. But for the most part, for a lot of us, we need to make a drastic change in our life so that we can let go of the stress and we can rely on God in a great and mighty way. So what is God speaking to you about? What are the things that you got to lay down before him? What are the things you got to share? What are the things you got to just stop doing? And what are the things that God is asking you really to do and rely on him in the middle of all of the stress, all of the storm, all of the anxiety? What are those things that you got to give to him? Like for a lot of us, we may have values in our life and things that we want. Like, I want to spend more time with my kids. Like, that's a good thing. I want to do this. So that may mean, you know what? I need to get to work earlier. I need to make a drastic decision where I'm going to get to work earlier, figure out some things, get my work done so I can leave work a little bit earlier so I can spend some time with my kids before they go to bed. Maybe for others of you, maybe it's, I got to get up earlier in the morning because I really want to have a relationship with God, and I've struggled with it. I can't sustain it, and I try to do it, but it just never works out for me. And maybe for you, maybe it's the morning, maybe it's the evening, maybe it's lunchtime, I don't know. But maybe it's saying, instead of going out to lunch with all of my business partners or all the people in the office, I'm just going to get alone, and I'm going to get my word, and I'm going to read God's word. And I'm going to say no to that lunch right now, but I'm going to say yes to spending time with God. Like, I don't know what it is for you. Maybe there's some drastic changes where you say, you know what, man, my relationship with my wife and my husband is just struggling. It's just struggling, and I've got to make my spouse a priority. I got to stop letting all these other things dominate my life, and I got to make my spouse a priority. So I'm going to stop doing these things. I'm going to stop playing golf. I'm going to stop going out with all the ladies. I'm going to focus in on my relationship with my spouse in this time. I need that. Maybe it's something crazy. Maybe you're like, you know what, I wish we had more money that we could go on vacations with the kids. And, I think that'd be fun to have these memories. But, man, this mortgage payment is just killing us every month. And I just can't get over. I can't seem to get ahead in life. Well, maybe it's time to downsize. Maybe it's something radical. We live in a culture that says more, bigger, go, faster, harder, stronger. But maybe God is calling you to say, you know what, we're going to just trim back. Maybe I don't need cable TV right now. Maybe I don't need that Starbucks every morning. Maybe I can downsize my house, do something radical so I can save some money and I can do the things that I'm really passionate about doing so that I can see my life in a way that is different than it was before. So I just believe that Jesus is calling us to lay down our nets, the normal way of doing life. Busy, 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 stress, stress, stress. And say, okay, God, I want a new way of life. I want to walk with you and work with you. I want to experience life that you have for me to the fullest. I want to experience living freely and lightly, God, because you say it in your word, and I believe that you are not a man that you would ever lie. So I want to experience true faith, true Christianity, true life change. So I need to do some things. I need to choose what's better than what's lesser. If we could stand up today as we close.